No sleeping. If you sleep, I'm gonna make you jump and jack or something. So when I want everybody to think about club contest. Who has been involved in the club contest? Whether you've been a contestant, someone that's helped out, a committee member. Good. Everybody's had at least some exposure to a club contest. That's great. So when you think about club contests, don't think about all the work that goes into it. Think about the excitement, a little bit of nervousness. Think about there you go. Now somebody's got it. All the things that make a club contest fun. Deb Blue. Could you come here for a second, please? You're not in trouble. We're just having technical difficulties. So who here is chair? Have been a contest chair for a contest? Good. So we have quite a bit of experience in the room, so that's great. We're just going to go through a few pointers. It's going to be about an hour and a little bit. If we let this work, otherwise we're just going to skip that and we'll just go through our little participant workbook. So I put two different handouts on each table for you. There's this one, which is the area division governor training. I know it says governor on there, but I did not have the ability to change the PDF, so it says governor for now. On the slides, it does say director, because I could change that. The PDFs still say governor. So go ahead and everybody make sure you have one of these, if you would please. If anyone does not have one, please raise your hand. And we should have a couple extras around that we can get those handed out. Also on your table is another handout that looks like this. It says speech contest checklist. So please make sure you also have one of these. And this speech contest checklist is actually just taken straight out of the speech contest rule book. So did anyone bring their speech contest rule book with them today? Awesome. Sure. There should be an extra on the table. Good. Awesome. Perfect. If anyone has any extras, could you please, on your table, could you please raise your hand? Okay, here's some extras here. Anyone not have any? Okay, I'll put the extras in the back here. If anybody wants them, they can come in. So this checklist is in the speech contest rulebook, so you can just reference that when you go home instead of having this extra sheet. But I wanted to make sure that everyone had the ability to check the checklist, because we will be doing a little contest game type situation a little bit later on. There's where that thing went. So how many, when you found out you had to put on an area or division contest, looked a little bit like this, like me, when I found out I had to? A little nervous, a little freaked out, but I did it the first time and it was all right. I did it the second time and it got better. Just a learning experience. That's the great thing about Toastmasters is you get to do something that works great. If you can find out different pointers of how to make it better, and then the next time you do it better. So, can anyone tell me the different types of speech contests that we have? Anybody, just one?
International.
Perfect, international. Ellen, what's another one?
Humorous.
Perfect.
Evaluation.
Evaluation.
Tall tales.
Tall tales, everybody likes tall tales.
Table topics.
Table topics.
That's it.
Did we say humorous already?
Yeah.
You guys are paying better attention to me. So this fall, we are bypassing doing 2 contests. We're only going to be doing 1 contest. We're only going to be doing the humorous contest this fall. Today, we're going to talk about the different types and benefits of speech contests, speech contest preparation, and speech contest rules. And there are a lot of them. Today, we're not going to give a comprehensive session on speech contests. Today I'm just going to give you an outline and give you like a first step in, and I need you to continue to learn about, read through the speech contest rule book, and I'm going to also provide another document that'll be on the website that you can access that can give you spelled out a little bit better on how to conduct a successful speech contest. So today we're going to talk about the types of speech contests, explain the benefits of speech contests, prepare a speech contest with leadership teams, and solve speech contest challenges and answer questions using the speech contest rule book. How exciting is that? So as we mentioned, these are all the types of different speech contests. The international speech contest goes all the way from club all the way up to the international. That's why we call it the international speech contest. When the definition is right in the name, right? So that is typically inspirational or slightly humorous or those kind of themes speech. It's not a tall tales, it's not an evaluation, it's something that a good speech that people want to listen to and inspires them. Evaluation, again, the definition is in the title. Where there is a target speaker, the target speaker gets up and gives a speech, and then they have 5 minutes to go, the contestants have 5 minutes to go into the room and prepare the evaluation, and they have 2 to 3 minutes to come out and give their evaluation. Humorous, again, funny, definition in the title. Table topics, that's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone gets 1 question, they have 2 minutes to give an answer, and just like a table topics session, except in table topics in your meetings, you have different questions, it's the same question for the contest. Tall tales is something that is outlandish, something that's imaginative, 2 to 3 minutes, gets people's creativity working. And then there's also the tape speech contest, but those are for only members of undistricted clubs or provisional districts. So as we are not either of those, we're not going to really delve into those. That is just another type of speech contest. But we are doing a humorous speech contest. How many has been to a humorous speech contest in the past? And pretty much everyone, so that's great. So you know basically what it's about. If I was being a competitor, it wouldn't necessarily be funny, but a lot of them are funny. So, speech contest resources for clubs. Area and division directors are resources for club officers' speech contest questions. I would like to submit that you guys are the primary resource for clubs to figure out how to run a speech contest, to run a successful speech contest. So today we're going to go through and give you just the beginnings of it, and then through research for the next couple of months on your own, you'll be able to provide a resource for those clubs in your area or division. So because you are the primary resource, you should have a thorough understanding of speech contests. How many would say you have a working knowledge of speech contests? Good. Great. Well, we'll build on that today. Just want to double check here to see where. How many are in your little booklet here? Because I was getting ahead of myself like I often do. So let's go to page 4.4. Let's start there. As we're working through these things, as you see items that you can answer questions for, please do so. So page 4.4 says types and benefits of speech contests. What are different speech contest types that are officially recognized by Toastmasters? If you need to look again, there they are. While we're doing that, what are some of the benefits of speech contests?
You raise the bar on yourself.
Perfect. That is awesome answer. You do raise the bar on yourself. You get to get outside your club, get outside the people that you often hear weekly, and you get to experience somebody else that has a different speaking style, as maybe there's someone that's hopefully in this one, there's someone that's gonna be funny. So you get to get out and see some new speaking styles, meet new people, meet other people and other members of the district. It's not a benefit of having speech contests. Yes.
Takes you out of your comfort zone and gives you the chance to speak to a larger audience.
Very good. You do get, in your club, you're generally speaking to anywhere from 8 to 20 to 5 people, depending on the size of your club. If you go on to areas and then into divisions, they can get 50, 60, 70, 80 people. So you're broadening your own horizon and getting out in front of a lot more people and definitely getting outside your comfort zone. I know I was outside my comfort zone when I competed. Another question, or I'm sorry, another benefit? Luke?
I found it's very important to use your body in these speech contests. It's very different from speaking in a small room. You really are using the stage. People are giving a full, almost choreographed performance sometimes.
Correct. I see that you've noticed that I'm standing right here next to my anchor mostly. So that is correct. You get to have a bigger venue to get out and express yourself also with your body language, not just what you're saying. Anyone else have any? Gene?
You get to know the other Toastmasters in the area.
Correct. When I first was in Toastmasters, I just was only in my club. I had no other view of what else outside was my club. Then I was a competitor in the area contest. And I got to see a whole bunch of people I had never met before that were Toastmasters. We had things in common. I didn't know that until I went to the contest.
When you compete, even though you may not place, or if you do place, you are still a winner.
That is very true. I didn't win my area contest, but I still was able to get out there, compete, learn different things that I would not have known if I didn't get outside my comfort zone. Yes.
Area contests provide expanded opportunities for leadership and growing as a leader or project manager or with these kinds of skills that
And there you hit the nail on the head for what we're talking about today. They do. They get to get you as area directors and division directors an opportunity to become a project manager, become a better leader, learn how to delegate different items. A little bit farther on, we're going to get to see how many people it actually takes to put on the speech contest. That's a pretty good amount of people. So sometimes I don't like to go by exactly the way I'm supposed to do things. And so I just entered in my own little slides of how things I thought that we should talk about. So we're going to talk about some things that I thought we should talk about a little bit here. This is one of them. Contestants eligibility. So anyone want to raise their hand and read off the screen for me? Perfect.
Must be a member in good standing, maintaining eligibility through all levels of competition. Any of the following are ineligible to compete. A member serving as any type of judge, any district officer or higher, and announced candidates.
Perfect. Thank you. That's splendid. So, an announced candidate. Let's go ahead and start with that. So an announced candidate doesn't necessarily apply to the fall contest because most people do not announce for their candidacy until closer to the business meeting. But an announced candidate is anyone that is going to be area director, division director, or a member of the trio in the upcoming Toastmasters year. They're going to announce their candidacy for that. So if they've already announced that they talked to the nominations committee and announced that they're going to be division director or a member, run for division director or a member of the trio, then they are not eligible to be a contestant. Yes, sir.
I have a question under district officers or higher. Does that also pertain to like, say, state fair chairs, chairs of the various committees?
That does not. The only thing that it applies to is area governor or area directors, division directors, members of the trio, the newly public relations manager, the secretary. Go ahead, Errol.
I think it's probably secretary. It's
The,
the leadership.
the whatever is it?
Treasurer.
Secretary,
Yeah, excuse me. Full
administrative
names.
manager, and the financial manager. I think that about covers it. I don't know.
The parliamentarian.
No, parliamentarian, I think is okay. And I think the SAAs or the logistics managers are okay, or are they not? That one I don't know, but we'll look into it.
I guess the idea is, basically the idea is that if you want a contest, you can't compete the contest.
That is correct.
Let's basically think of it that way.
Correct.
That's kind of the idea of they want to be
Right.
you know.
You can be a Toastmaster for a contest and still compete, but you cannot be a contest chair, you cannot be a chief judge or a judge. Any of the judges, you can't be if you're in your own contest, obviously, but also if you're planning on being a judge or chief judge in any consecutive or beforehand contest. Actually, beforehand. No, I don't think we can beforehand either. Yes.
I do have the rule book here.
Awesome.
And the logistic managers are not listed.
Perfect. Thank you. See, I don't know everything. That's why I have everybody else here. Yes.
You can judge at a club contest, but you can't judge other contests. Like the club contest is the one that's exempt. You can judge the club contest and you can still compete at other
Correct.
contests. Just not a
Like
general
area division, district. Any other questions while we're taking questions? No? All right, let's move on. So, does anyone, before I move to the next slide and just have somebody read it, does anyone know what a judge's eligibility is? Yes, Ben.
Must have given 6 or more speeches out of the competition theater for area and division district. International, where you have to have the higher qualification, but you have to be a member of good standing, have given at least 6 speeches.
Not for the
Completed
club.
judges training
I'm sorry?
and completed judges training.
That, you should have completed judges training, but if you have not completed judges training, it is not, you can't not be a judge, but you should.
Oh, I'm sorry. We required it in District 1.
Did you? Well, it's not in the speech rule contest rule book that you have. What it does say is to be chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge at a Toastmaster speech contest, you must meet all eligibility requirements identified below. The club contest, you have a member of good standing. So at anybody in the club contest, except for during the international speech contest, you just have to be a member in good standing. At an area division or district contest, be a member in good standing for a minimum of 6 months and have completed a minimum of six speech projects in company communication. Also, voting judges at all levels shall remain anonymous when practical, and contest chairs, chief judges, voting judges, timers, counters, sergeant at arms, and test speakers may not compete in the contest of which they are serving. Anyone have any questions on those items?
Who's responsible for determining eligibility?
That is the chief judge's responsibility for the judges. For the contestants, it is the contest chair. There is a form for each of the being a judge and being a contestant, and that either judge or contestant has to fill out and give it to as a judge has to give it to the chief judge, as a contestant has to give it to the Toastmaster contest chair, and then it has to be validated that they are. Yes, sir.
What is a test speaker?
Test speaker, target speaker, it's interchangeable. So for the evaluation contest, it is test or target speaker. Yes, Robbie.
Just to help with the district contest, I think in the past we have had questions related to eligibility.
Okay.
It is best to have anyone contact the district contest chair rather than go to Toastmaster International. That way we limit our calls to Toastmaster International, and the person here who's the district contest chair is a contest judge is more familiar with our district than Toastmasters will be. So I would recommend that always check with our district judge.
there's a big thing right now on one of the Facebook pages where the club went into suspension, but the guy had passed.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, okay, because you have to have a sponsoring club.
Correct.
And it
You
got
have
to be a
to-
whole big messy deal, I guess.
It does get to be a big messy deal because in the rule book, it states that you must maintain eligibility throughout the entire length of time that you are contested. So if you start at the club level, you're good, move on to the area level, you're good, move on to the division level and the club folds, you're no longer good. So you're gonna have to work through that with the district and with TI, because I'm not sure of what the procedure would be for that if your club folded while you're in the pipeline of being contested. Yes,
So I follow what you said, you're not quite sure what to do, but is it possible to belong to multiple clubs and the other club doesn't have a representative at any of the levels? You just switch what club you're coming from?
as far as I know, that is not acceptable. I think you have to start from the club level and be a representative of that club all the way through. If that is not the case, then I will bow to someone wiser than myself.
Assume that if there's two contests being held, international and evaluation, you could be a test taker in the evaluation and compete in international. Would be two contests.
No. If you're the target speaker, you are not able to compete in the internet. Correct. All right, any other questions while we're still in here? All right, we'll move on. Now we're going on to general procedure. These are all things I felt that you guys needed to know as we're moving through and getting ready for these contest chairs. So I'm just gonna read this. Actually, Cheryl, why don't you read the first page here for us?
At club contests, a contest chair, chief judge, at least 5 voting judges, a tie-breaking judge, 3 counters, and 2 timers are appointed unless practical.
First page.
At area contests, there shall be an equal number of voting judges from each club in the area, or a minimum of 5 voting judges. In addition to these voting judges, a contest chair, chief judge, tie-breaking judge, 3 counters, and 2 timers shall be appointed. At division contests, there shall be an equal number of voting judges from each area in the division, or a minimum of 7 voting judges. In addition to these voting judges, a contest chair, chief judge, tie-breaking judge, 3 counters, and 2 timers shall be appointed. No chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge shall be a member of any club in which a contestant is a member.
Perfect, thank you. So let's start at the beginning because this gets to be long and confusing. At club contests, there must be a contest chair, chief judge, at least 5 voting judges, a tie-breaking judge, 3 counters, 2 timers are appointed, unless impractical. So this is the saving grace of having this whole long drawn-out thing at club contests. If it is impractical to have 5 voting judges when you have 2 contestants and 7 other people in the audience, then it is definitely impractical to have 7 or 5 judges. I would suggest finding at least 3 if you can. But the rules state 5. If you have a bigger club, that's a lot easier than if you have a smaller club. Another thing to note is, let's move on to area contests. At area contests, there should be an equal number of voting judges from each club in the area, or a minimum of 5 voting judges. So, who here has a club with 4?
You mean an area?
I'm sorry, yeah, an area with 4 clubs in it.
Yes.
So, Helen, there shall either be an equal number of voting judges from each club in the area, or a minimum of 5 voting judges. So, how many judges do you have to have?
4. No.
You must have 5. Correct. So, if you have, who here has 6 clubs in their area? Perfect. So, how many judges would you have to have?
6.
Correct. Or, well, you would have to have 1 from each club. Or if you don't have 1 from each club, you'd have to have a minimum of 5 judges. That wouldn't have to be from any club, or from it gets a little messy around here. Yes, Larry.
And for this point, just so everybody knows, Diane and I reached out to TI on what does for a minimum of 5 judges mean. If you have an area with 4 clubs, and you have a representative from each of those 4 clubs, you can have 4 judges. If you have, let's say, 3 judges, 1 from each club equally, and then you bring in a judge from another area, then you need 5 judges. See how that works? So as long as you have the equal number of judges in your, from one person from every club, you go with the number of your clubs. If you don't, then you need a minimum of 5. Same thing will happen with the division level when you get there. Is you need 1 representative from every area. If you don't, then you have to go by the minimum number. Okay?
Thank you for that clarification. So that also does not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have one question.
Sure.
So in my area, there's 7 clubs, so let's say there's only 5 contestants. Do I need 7 judges or 5 judges?
5 judges.
Okay.
But that also, just a note, does not include the tie-breaking judge. So you need to have the 5 judges plus the tie-breaking judge, which is the chief judge's responsibility to define. So in the contest rulebook, the contest chair and Toastmaster, yes, go ahead.
Back up, is one of the tiebreakers, one of the
It is not.
4 or
It is
5?
not included in that. Tiebreaker judge is entirely separate from the rest of the voting judges.
So if you need a minimum of 5, actually you need.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Can the tie-breaking judge be the chief judge?
I will bow to the trio's decision on that. Can the tiebreaker judge be the chief judge?
I don't think so, but I'd have to check.
Okay. So we don't have an answer solidly on that one right now. Yes.
Okay, you got 5 clubs in the area, and you know, sorry, directory, that only 4 are going to compete in contests. You still need 5 judges, or
Yes, still need
only
5
4?
judges.
5.
Yeah. So in this, it does have a contest chair. As a contest chair, you can also appoint someone to be a postmaster for the contest. I found that's easier to do as contest chair, to appoint someone that can run the contest while I run around and make sure everything works right. It is up to you if you want to be the contest chair and the toastmaster, that's your decision. But it frees me up as contest chair to take care of the minutia of the contest and then allow someone else to get up in front and run the contest. So. Any questions on area contests? All right, we'll move on to division contests. So it must be an equal number of voting judges from each area in the division. So what Larry said still applies to this particular level of contest, but I would like you to read the last sentence. No chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge shall be a member of any club in which a contestant is a member. This can get a little hairy by the time you get to division level, because the division director is going to already have some people earmarked for being a judge, but he doesn't know until after all of his area contests are finished whether that person will be a contestant from their club or not. So that is one reason why the division directors would like you to have your speech contest completed a certain amount of time before their division contest. I will allow the division directors to discuss with you on the time frame for that and how you go about deciding on that. That's up to the division directors. Typically, it's about a week. That's how I did it when I was division director. I wanted my area governors to have their contests, have them all finished by a week before my contest. Yes.
Would this be a good time to speak to the fact that Helena said you want a speech contest to be done in August or September?
It would.
Okay.
So
July or August?
July, August.
So what we would like to see is everyone having done by the end of August. The division contests start, I believe, in the very beginning of September. And so in order for the division directors to have time to work all this stuff and get their judges and everything done, we'd like to have them, whatever they decide is up to them, but at least a week in advance. So once yes, Ron.
Sorry, I want
Okay.
to, at the area contest, if we are having trouble finding enough people, is it possible to develop between counters and timers?
I will ask Larry. If you're having trouble finding enough people to fill roles, can the contest timers and ballot counters be doubled up? Can the timers be ballot counters as well? Yeah. Okay, yes. And so at that point, those two, I would say it could be. I don't know, and you could have a registrar be a timer, a registrar be a ballot counter, those kind of things. I would not have judges be anything other than judges to that. And I don't think the Toastmaster could be the Toastmaster and the judge and the timer and the ballot counter. So we'll try and leave the Toastmaster to do the Toastmaster job. So back to the point of having the contests done. So the club contests will more than likely need to be done in August. And maybe even into something. That's up to the division director on how far ahead they want your contest to be. And then you have to decide how far ahead you want your club contest to be before your area contest date, because you also have work that you need to decide on, getting contestants in and getting all paperwork done. So you need to talk with your division director, and you guys work that out amongst yourselves.
The district contest is still October.
Correct. The district contest is at the district conference. That is going to be a couple weeks earlier than it was last year, which is why everything is bumped up a couple weeks farther ahead than what it was last year. So after you've contacted your clubs, I would give them just a little heads up that club contests or that the area contest is going to be at this date. Once you get that, as soon as you get that solidified, then I would make sure your clubs are aware of that so they can have their club contests. Which at that point, once you have that information given to them, I would also suggest that you make yourself available to be a participant in their club contest, fill any role that they would like you to. That is completely up to you, but I find that if you're going to be building trust, like we were talking about earlier, making yourself available to be a participant in their contest works wonders.
And what if a club does not want to have a contest? Is that unacceptable?
A club can choose not to hold a contest if there is one person and only one person that wants to go to the area contest. If there is more than one person, they must hold a contest.
If there is zero?
If there is zero, then I want you to get Colin's lasso and go lasso them and drag them into the area contest. If there is no one, then there's nothing you can do about that. As much as you can, you garner interest in it, but if there's no one, then Colin.
Am I correct in understanding that, however, if you did get disqualified at the club contest level, does disqualify from contest?
You are correct.
So if you go over
time, you are out.
You're done.
Correct.
So if there's one speaker in your club that wants to compete, I suggest you just have it do a round table evaluation instead of doing a contest. So if they do go over, they don't disqualify themselves.
If there's one contestant, yes. Otherwise, you can just send them to the area contest and not even have a contest. Yes.
How many are we advancing?
Just one.
So it's not first and second place?
No. Second place will be a runner-up if the first place
There's
is
only
not.
3 people, there's only 3 clubs in my area.
So you only advance one.
You would only ever advance one. Are you talking about? Oh, sorry. Larry's going to address that.
If you have an area with only 3 clubs, the rule does state that you can send the first and second place to the area contest. But then that for DEC, you still only have 1. There still should only be 1 going against area to division. But the exception is, yes, areas that have 3 clubs. For certain area.
So they reduced it because last year was 4.
I'd have to look in the book. Is it 4? Okay, so I think it's right. It is in the rule book, but yeah, those that have, I think it's 4 or less than, you can send the first and second place to the next level. And that's going to be across our district. So everybody's going to.
I had 7 clubs in my area, so that was never a consideration. Yes.
Does the club have the ability to decide an alternative way of sending somebody to the contest? I was doing their club history and saw that they used, over the last 3 months, the person that actually placed was all the best speeches and do it that way.
That is not a legal way to.
Okay, we can't do that.
You want someone to know. Larry, do you want to speak to that, or for the question? Could you repeat the question, please?
Okay, the question was like, if a club opts to use a different methodology, like I was doing our club history, and they were talking about the person that had won the most or placed the best in the speeches over the last 3 months. So it's a consistency
No, you
factor.
can't do that. It's, if you have 1 contestant, you can just send them and you can vote and not have a contest. Otherwise, you have to have a contest and you have to follow the Toastmasters International rules. That's the only option.
So how would you approach that subject with them?
Just tell them, I would just go to that club and say that's not allowed anymore, and that you have to have a regular speech contest with judges and all that in order to move forward. Otherwise, you can't send a person.
Okay.
If one of your clubs opts out, for example, I've got 4 clubs in my area, so if one of them does not compete or have a contest, and nobody wants to volunteer to be judge or any of that stuff, does that create a challenge where you need to get somebody from that, even though somebody's not representing their club, to get to be a judge or?
I think I'm a little confused on the question.
Okay, so
repeat it.
I have 4 clubs. If one of the club does not have a contestant, does the club still need to have a judge?
Yes.
Okay.
You still have to have the
Requirement.
requirement for judges. Just have to have 1 judge. Would that then place them in 5 judges?
Yeah, so
The question is, does the judge have to come from that club?
no. It's,
Okay.
If you have 4 clubs, you have a representative from every club you get. If you have only representatives from 3 of the 4 clubs, then you would need to get 2 more members from any other clubs. Preferably, so that you're not doubling up on the same club, they go to another area so that there's not a bias in having 1 club have more judges than the other. So that's what Toastmasters International recommends.
Yes, Jane.
I have clarification on club contests. If you're having 2 people try out for humorous in the club, and you call it a speech trial rather than a speech contest, you can't. You have to call it a speech contest.
Yes.
Got it. That's what I was told. I'm glad we said that.
Me too. All right, let's move on to the next area. Still more general procedure. Before the contest, contestants are briefed on the rules by the contest chair. Contestants will then draw for their speaking position with the contest chair. Before the contest, voting judges, let me go back and clarify that. If you have a Toastmaster, it will be done with the Toastmaster, not the contest chair. If you are acting as Toastmaster, being the contest chair, then it will be you. Before the contest, voting judges, counters, and timers are briefed on their duties by the chief judge. Each voting judge receives the appropriate ballot for the contest in an envelope. Timers receive the speech contest time record sheet and instructions for timers. If necessary, they also receive instruction in the proper use of the timing equipment. Ballot counters receive the counter's tally sheet. If necessary, they also receive instruction in the gathering of the ballots and the counting procedure. Usually that is done during the time when the chief judge takes them back account, just to keep the briefing before the contest shorter. Before the contest, the chief judge selects a member to act as tie-breaking judge. The identity of the tie-breaking judge is secret and known only to the chief judge. So while that is the case, as contest chair, I have in the past selected the tie-breaking judge and given my chief judge, and then he either went with that one or chose another.
So
Yes,
as the contest chair, we said no, we hired judge.
The way I did it was I said, this is the person I selected, and gave it to the chief judge. Chief judge decided whether they went with that person or chose another.
Someone on their own.
Correct. So then, I didn't know for sure that it is, but I suggested one because the chief judge may not be from my area, may not know anybody in that
Or
area.
you offered him a candidate.
Yes,
And
and then he chose,
yes.
yes,
Either or not.
correct. Did you want to add something?
I have the rule book here. For any area that has 4 clubs or less, they can send the first 2, first and second place winner from each club to that area. And then any division, which I think we only have 1 here, that has 4 areas or less, can send 2 people to the division level. Which I think the only one that qualifies is Division A. I think all the other divisions have more than 4 areas.
So to clarify, if there's 4 clubs, the clubs can send 2 to the area, but not areas to the division, correct?
Correct. Yeah. The only exception to that is Division A, since they have 3 areas. So any area that has 4 or less.
Yeah. So it's from the club level up to the area.
You get kind of confusion on it. I have an area 17 which has 4 clubs.
So for your area and your area only, you can have two member, first and second place from every club come to yours area contest. But since Cheryl has 7, I'm guessing 7 areas, only 1 person from your area can move on to the next. Does that make sense? Any other questions around that?
Thank you, Larry. The tie-breaking judge does not attend the judge's briefing. The chief judge will brief the tie-breaking judge prior to the contest. The chief judge shall provide the tie-breaking judge's guide and ballot to the tie-breaking judge before the beginning of the contest. So I would like to take a moment and show you, if I can find the right thing here. This is the humorous speech contest ballot. Everyone can see that reasonably well. So there are items that the judges are judged, or the contestants are judged on the left. The judge writes in the name of the contestant along the top, and then underneath the numbers writes in the judgment that he or she makes. And then at the bottom is the official ballot, and that is what is torn off and placed in the envelope and given to the ballot counters. As the chief judge, when you're in your judge's briefing, please make sure that you have your judges, first of all, sign the judge's eligibility form. Second of all, print and sign on the bottom of their ballot for their ballot to be official. Otherwise, it will be discarded.
So do we have to send those all in to someone?
No. They are discarded by the chief judge after the contest. after the announcement of winners.
Right, but the area, you have to send them, send the names on.
You do have a form that you fill out that is that tells the first three of the top three places, yes, first place, second place, and third place. That is handed off to your division director at the end of your contest. So then on the back side of the ballot, just so you know, the ballots must be printed front and back. They cannot be printed two different pages. Must have it on the front side of the previous picture. Back side of the ballot must be the judging criteria. And that just goes through the judging the content delivery language and just gives you an idea of what you're supposed to look for while you're judging.
Dan, I would
Yes.
like you to reiterate the part about the front to back, because
Absolutely.
that is the biggest area where people, they print it on one side only, they hand everybody 2 pieces of paper. When you leave the judge's briefing, you've got most of the second sheet papers lying around, so not everybody has an official ballot.
Correct. So, to reiterate, official ballot must have this on the back side of the ballot and this printed on the front side of the ballot. Does anyone have any questions about that? Yes.
Why can't you just made a staple?
Because that is in the rule book, that is an unofficial ballot. I don't make the rules, I just say you have to follow them.
Could do the ballots like that and then have a separate sheet of the back for easier reference during the judging. Yes?
If you would like to have a ballot with both sides and then also have a second sheet of just the back side, that is fine with me. As I said before, I like to do things the easiest way possible, so I probably wouldn't do that, but if that's the way you'd like to do it, I don't have a problem with that. Yes, Dave? Oh, you didn't have, yeah, perfect. Yes.
I have a question. It's just in the numbering. Can you go to the second to the bottom judging item?
Sure.
So if you look at the appropriateness scale, I don't know if it's just a typo, but 9 is not an option. So if somebody picks 9 as a number, is that invalid?
So you will never ever see the top of this. So this is, the top portion of that is for the judge to dispose of or hand to the chief judge. Nobody will ever see the top of that. That is the judge's own reference. So if they want to put a 9 in there, they can do that. But
You know it's not an option.
the must just be typo on behalf of the international. If you wanted to number them, whatever numbers you want to get whatever you want, is fine. You just have to make sure you know how you're doing it. That's just a reference for the judge to help them decide who is the winner of the contest. Just to give you an idea of the difference between the judge's ballot and the tie-breaking judge's ballot, because they are different. They are judged on the same criteria, but the bottom of the ballot, the part that gets torn off, the tie-breaking judge places each speaker in that order. So whoever they thought was the best speaker, they put in first, second best second, through the different numbers. That is because when they go back to count, if there is someone there is a tie in the contestants, then the chief judge will then open the tiebreaker's ballot, which is not open unless there is a tie. And then they will take the 2 people that are tied and they will look on the tie-breaking judge's ballot and see who is first in the lineup and who is second, and whoever is first breaks the tie. Any questions on that? Because I don't think I can explain that very well. All right, we'll move on. Oops. We'll move back over to here.
Actually, I have a question about the
Sure.
ballot. Is it the same exact ballot
that was used last year, or did they tweak it for this year?
It is the same exact ballot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Lena?
Where do you find the ballots and how long does it take to print the documents?
Those are wonderful questions. How long does it take? Is that what you said? How long does it take to print
Where
the
do you
document?
find it and how long does it take? Like,
So, if you go to Toastmasters.org, which is the international website, and let's just go there just for fun. So you go to Toastmasters.org, go to shop, go to speech contest kits in the search version. Whoops.
Yes, speech notes on different.
Well, that's the first time anybody's ever accused me of being creative. Speech contest kit. And then it will come up with these different humorous club officer kit, humorous speech contest kit, alcohol speech contest kit, evaluation speech contest kit. So we're doing the humorous. You go to view details. If you wanted to not have to print any of them, you can order it for $11 from TI, and then you can read what it comes with. It comes with a certain amount of ballots, a certain amount of certificates. Otherwise, you can go down to the bottom where it says add a digital file. Click on that, and then it downloads all of those things that you just had in a PDF format, and then you can print them out on your own. That way you can, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to do it that way, because then I can change things that need to be changed, as in giving the participant certificates to everyone. You can go in and make it for competing in a speech contest, for being the registrar in a speech contest, for being a judge, or a chief judge, or a Toastmaster, or any of the roles, actually. You can do any of them. Or whatever you want to type in. So, again, you go to Toastmasters.org, you go to shop, and then in the search portion, search speech contest kits. Any questions regarding that? Yes?
The digital version is free, right?
Correct, yes, sorry, I didn't specify that. The digital version is free. The one where you have them mail the papers to you is $10.
Then you have to remember to print double-sided.
Correct, you do have to remember to print double-sided ballots. If you're lucky and have a printer that does double-sided printing, that's great. I did one side and then I did the other side. So I am going a lot slower than I anticipated going, so we will move on to the checklist game. How excited is everyone for that? All right, so if you go into your little workbook here, somewhere, it has these 3 questions. Under the checklist game, let's go to page 4, 5. I'm sorry, 4, 6. Okay, that's not even good.
4, 5. 4, 5.
There's a 4, 5, there we go. Perfect. So I would like everyone, Brian, would you join this group over here, please? Either Jay or I don't care, either one. Very perfect. So I would like everyone to, amongst yourselves, let's have Division E and Division F also join forces. And I would like you to go through pages 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 7. And this is where your speech contest checklist will come in handy, those 3 pages, the second handout that I gave you. Then you can find the answers in that. Please work together amongst yourselves. So I will give you, let's go 5 minutes to do that.
we're reviewing this.
Go.
So what they do is contest must, which is straightforward. It's only one
They can hold three contests.
That's what I initially.
We got it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have
All right, who is done with their checklist game? Perfect. All right, so let's go with, we're all just gonna go through the things together because we are quickly running out of time. So, for the first one, what should the contest chair order for all contest speakers? Certificates of participation, correct. So you can either download them at toastmasters.org, shop contests, speech contest kits like we already went through, or you can order them from TI in the kit, whichever. You can download a digital file or order them online. What should the contest chair order for the contest winners? Trophies. And where should these trophies be from? Toastmasters International World Headquarters. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of a difference than what it actually says here. So on the next slide, it says, may clubs, areas, divisions, or districts produce awards for contestants and winners. In the rule book, it says it is a trademark violation to put the TM logo, whether it's Toastmasters or Toastmasters International, on speech contest awards not purchased from World Headquarters. So to bypass that without having to pay $35 a trophy from World Headquarters, you can go to Crown Awards or something along those lines, crownawards.com, and order trophies, but you cannot have Toastmasters, Toastmasters International, or Toastmasters logo on that for your area contest. What you can do is you can put first place, second place, third place, whatever place it is, for area, whatever your area is, humorous speech contest, fall 2015. So that is what you can do if you do not want to pay for the trophies from TI. The trophies from TI are about $35, and if you look in your reimbursement paperwork, that was the handout given to you at the table in front, you have, I think it's $40 for the fall, and you have $40 for the spring contest to get trophies for your area contest. Division directors, your trophies will be provided by the district, but area contests, the trophies must be provided by the area director. You will be reimbursed if you fill out one of the reimbursement forms and send it in. Any questions on that? Yes. Correct. No, that is $40 for the spring, or for the fall contest, $40 for the spring contest. So if you get 3 awards, correct, that's why we don't get them from TI. That's why we order them somewhere else. They don't have to be extravagant. You choose what you want your trophy to look like, but you will only be reimbursed $40 for the fall and $40 for the spring. Any questions about that? I think I would put them on there. I don't know that it is trademarked or not, but I would. You don't like trophies for it. So on to the next one. When should the contest chair notify contestants of the time and place of the contest and pre-contest briefing? As soon as possible is a good rule of thumb. But in the contest rule book, it does say notify the contestants of time and place of the contest and pre-contest briefing 2 to 6 weeks before the contest. Provide an info packet to each contestant at this time, and the info packet will be the rule book, contestant profile sheet, and the speaker's certificate of eligibility and originality. All 3 of those items can be found on Toastmasters International and downloaded as digital files, so you can just in the email, in the email letting the clubs know about the contest. You can also attach those 3 documents so they can have them. Yes.
Would you have to give them the whole book, or can you give them the section that is relevant, the basic information plus what's relevant to that specific contest?
Since this is just suggested, it's not, I would, personally, I would give them the whole book,
Okay,
just so they have an awareness of what's going on.
okay.
But as I said, it can be digitally downloaded, and then you can just shoot it to them and they can print it as they see fit. So 2 to 6 weeks before the contest, please keep that in mind as you're working out with your division director when the contest is going to be. Keep that in mind so you can get that information out to your clubs as soon as possible. Where should the chief judge tell the contest judges to sit?
And not next to the contestant.
Correct. But those are not listed in the checklist. They're in the rule book. You should not, the chief judge can tell them not to sit next to each other, so they're not looking at each other's papers. They should not sit next to a contestant, just so you keep the integrity of the judging intact. But according to the rule book, it says instruct voting judges to sit close to the contest area in case of an outside disturbance or malfunctioning technical system. Any questions about that? Pretty self-explanatory. So we covered both of those. Why should the contest judges sit there because of the outside disturbance or technical difficulty? What does the chief judge give to the contest chair during the contest? Exactly, a hard time. That works. That's what happens when I'm the chief judge usually. So what this says is provide a list of the contest chair showing placement of all contestants. I have never seen that done. It is in the rule book because I just copied it out of there. So if you're a chief judge and would like to do that, I would say great. Did you? Okay. Perfect. So that's a good idea. Just so I don't know how the chief judge would know where the contestants are since the Toastmaster is doing briefing the contestants, the chief judge is doing the judges.
Well,
You have an answer to that?
what you normally end up doing is just putting their names down at first, when you're acting as the chief judge, because you have their names in the program.
Right.
So you know their full names, and then afterwards you go and get your club numbers before you hand it on to the next director.
Oh, okay. So I completely read that the wrong way. So what this is saying is the chief judge will give the placement and how they placed in the contest, first, second, or third, to the contest chair. I was reading it how they were going to tell them where in the audience they were sitting. So that is not the placement they were talking about. They were talking about the placement in the contest. Because I'm not aware this morning. Apparently not to me, it's not obvious. Exactly. All right, so the last one, I think. Oh, there's one more after that. But anyway, what 2 events must a contestant attend before the contest? The briefing, and this says the speaker's rehearsal, which basically we do in the contestants briefing. So in our district, we do both items at the same time. Just getting in the speaking area and just getting the sergeant at arms tell them what they need watching like that. So. All right. So I have completely run out of time. So what we're going to do is one last thing that would be really fun. Everyone looks like they're about to sleep. So first of all, I just want to show you what I brought to my speech contest. This is my speech contest Bible, if you will, which has all of the different ballots, etc., papers that you need to run a speech contest. Anyone would like to look at that afterwards, you can do that. It's there.